All right, now I've gone ahead and pulled up the rules pack. This was hard to find. So for the US Open Series in Tampa, if you want to find the rules pack, you have to go to the NAF website, go to the tournaments, and look up the tournament itself. Thanks, man. So you have to look up the tournament itself, and in the description, you will find the website link. It's a whole bunch of ugly letters and numbers, and it won't make any sense for me to tell you about it. I'm going to go ahead and put it in chat, though, so that way you can follow along with me if you want. Also, I'm going to go ahead and upload it, and it'll be in the description of any videos I post, so you'll be able to find it there. I'll be using BB Roster today. That's bbroster.com. That's my preferred way to build rosters. So you can also follow along on there, build along with me. So on this PDF that we've got, it's very professionally put together. Like, I'm digging this, right? But I did notice one inconsistency right away, and I'll have to message the tournament organizer to find out what the truth is. It says here, number of games 5. It's a 2-day event, supposedly. But then when you go lower in the schedule, it lists time for 6 games. So is it 5? Is it 6? In the description here, does it say? It doesn't say. It's either 5 or 6. Either way. Yeah, who cares? All right, so let's go ahead and get to it. The rules for this are fairly simple. You're going to be given 1,200 gold to build your team. 1,200 gold to build your team. Special play cards, wizards, mercenaries cannot be purchased. You have a number of points to assign for skills. Okay, so this is where rubber meets the road. Tier 1 teams are going to get 6 points. That's basically 6 skills. Tier 2 teams get 8 points. Tier 3, 10. Okay, all very standard. Then they've got this interesting thing going on here when it comes to star players. Okay, so star players cost 2 points, and there's a maximum number that you can have depending on the tier of your team. Now, I'm not going to pay too much attention to this. If it messes up some of the rosters, so be it. Megastars cost 4 points. Now, the Megastars are, if I remember correctly, obviously Morgan Thorg and your Griff Oberwalds and your giant trees and your goblin bombers. You know them. You know them better than anybody else. Come on. You see them every tournament. Those are 4. Now, are they going to be worth it? You know, they actually may. Including regular star players, they may actually end up being worth it. Depending on the roster. So I'm going to start off with a straightforward roster. One of my favorites. Let's see how it goes. Zach Wolfe mentioned that he wanted to see High Elves built. So let's begin with them. Okay, so we've got the High Elves here. 1,200 is actually like the perfect amount of gold for High Elves. Every High Elf roster has to have 2 blitzers. You're going to take all 4 catchers. This catcher is, in my opinion, the best catcher in the game. With movement 8, 2 up agility, and 3 strength, he's stronger than a human catcher. It just makes sense. Take them. The thrower. Do you need it? No. Does it help? You might as well. Okay? Maybe you want to build a leader caddy. Maybe you just want to be able to throw a long bomb. I mean, that's up to you. Now, I would typically prefer 12 players. Most rosters, I'm going to start with 11 and then see where that takes me in gold before I go any further. So 2 rerolls is really a minimum for me. I have run 1 before, and with certain teams it can work, especially if you've got leader as a skill. But for this amount of gold, let's throw 2 on there. What do we got left? We got 160,000. That's actually perfect. We can afford another lineman. So we've got our 12th player. That's a replacement. That's a fouler, although you shouldn't be fouling with elves. And then 3 rerolls. Okay, with 40,000 left over, I don't even know what I'd buy. Maybe assistant coaches. Heck, I'd probably go for all of them. Maybe a cheerleader just to even things out. And there's your team. Now you could go for, if you get rid of this thrower, which I don't recommend, and you get rid of those coaches and your cheerleader, you've got enough room for a 13th player. Now, that's up to you. Okay? I don't pretend to know which one's going to be better. I would personally go with the thrower if it was me, but this works too. Now, the problem with this is that, let's look at the tiering. It should just be GW tiering. High Elves are tier 1. So they're only going to have the 6 skills. Now, I guess that's fine. You obviously have to skill out your blitzers and your catchers. So your blitzers, they start with block. Catchers have catch. What are you going to give them? Well, you're going to give your blitzers dodge most likely. That's really the go-to. So you got the 2 blodgers here. And then your catchers, a mix of wrestle and block. I prefer 2 block and 2 wrestle. The block tend to be the ball carriers, whereas the wrestle tends to be the safeties. Is this team going to win? It could. It could. My guess would be 50-50. It's going to go, 3 wins, 3 losses. Okay? But in any case, if you decide to take this, I would recommend dodge, dodge, block, block, wrestle, wrestle, and then you're good to go. So that's High Elves. All right, Sam from Southwest Florida requested OWA. This is always a tricky one. There's so many options. Let's get right into it. Remember, Old World Alliance is tier 2. This is one of those teams where we may actually consider taking a star. So how do we build this team? Well, I recommend the Ogre over the Tree Man. I know a lot of people are Tree Man fanatics. Okay, take the Tree Man if you want. I'm going Ogre. The Hopeful, the Halfling Hopeful, I view it as a way to save team value, so I'm not going to throw him in yet, but here's a must-have. If you're playing OWA, you take the Troll Slayer. I also personally like the Blitzer. I'm going to leave the runner off. You know why? Because the human thrower is a better runner than the dwarf one. You got to take the human Blitzer. I would say for the sure hands, you want to take the human thrower. And then human catcher, yeah, we're going to take him too. Now let's fill this roster out with linemen. And we may end up deleting the last lineman and changing him for halfling, depending on what we need star player-wise, if we choose to go that route. This takes us directly to 800,000. We got 400,000 left to spend. But a big problem with OWA is these rerolls. Good news, good and bad news, a lot of your players have loner. Well, actually, in this build, only 3 of our players have loner. But still, you're not going to really waste rerolls on them, so I guess that's good. Whatever, okay. Let's give them 2 rerolls. What do we have? 260 left. A possibility of 280. So what can we buy with that? Well, they've got 8 skills. So if we take a regular star player, we're going to have 6 skills. That's plenty. Ogre gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the linemen don't have any skills. That's perfect. So you can take a regular star without sacrificing anything on the rest of your players. You can take a mega star, and then only 2 of your main players, 2 of your positionals are going to be without. So we can afford either depending on what's good. Do you want a Griff Oberwald? If you take a Griff Oberwald, let's say that you're of that mindset, that's going to take you to 1220. It actually works out perfect if you drop this lineman and you exchange him for the Hopeful. And that's a Griff Oberwald star roster. With the 4 remaining skills, you're going to put Guard on the Ogre. You're going to put Mighty Blow on the Troll Slayer. Some people will say put Guard on the Troll Slayer because he has strength access. That's wrong. His Frenzy is going to mean that your Guard is sometimes out of position. Also, you're going to have to wonder about, how am I going to position? It's not good. Okay, throw your Guard on the Blitzer here. He's just as fast. He has more armor. Guard goes on the Blitzer. Mighty Blow or Tackle goes on the Troll Slayer. Okay? The human Blitzer is also going to get something like Tackle. He's really your safety. So I would put Tackle on the human Blitzer, probably Mighty Blow on the Troll Slayer, and then that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your 4 skills. Now, if you don't take Griff Oberwald, okay, just imagine he's gone. Imagine I took him off. Okay? What else can we afford for 260? 260 to 280 depending. We get Mighty Zug without sacrificing down to a Hopeful. We could get the Dwarf. He's actually way better than people give him credit for. Is he worth 2 skills? Actually, yes, because of what he gives. His special ability, which I don't believe is listed on here, his special ability gives like Mighty Blow and all sorts of stuff once per turn. He's kind of worth it. Rumbelow, worth 2 skills. OWA is a star player caddy for this tournament. So you'd be showing up, you'd be the guy with Griff Overwall. You got the Ogre, you got the Dwarves, you got the Guard, you have the fast safety, alternate scoring potential in the human catcher, built-in sure hands in case Griff Overwall goes down. There's a couple problems. One, you have fewer rerolls than others. You have some animosity, although it shouldn't really matter. And all around, kind of a janky team, but you can do it. And although I don't recommend this specific roster, this is one way to build a powerful OWA roster. And it is a star player caddy roster. So do what you will with that. Welcome to the stream. Glad you're here for roster check. We're moving through the list. This one was asked by James Luft, the godfather of Florida Blood Bowl. He mentioned Amazons, and I guess they're pretty heavy in the meta right now. I'm going to just straight up admit here, I don't have any experience with the new Amazon roster myself, except for playing against them like twice. So let's build it and see what it looks like on paper. Obviously, I think every roster is going to look the same when you start out. You're going to take your blockers. You're going to take your blitzers. The question becomes, do I take the thrower? And that, in my opinion, is going to wait till we fill out the rest of the roster. I want to find out what our needs are first before I throw in those what I consider to be unnecessary but nice players. So if we had 11 players here, we'd be at 750,000. Throw in the 3 rerolls, we're looking at 930. That gives us 270,000. Nice, Eldrick. We have 270,000 to spend on a star player, if we so wish. So what do we have with them? I'll tell you one thing I have seen when I've played against these guys. It is obnoxious, absolutely obnoxious to play against Glottal Stop. He costs 270. Even if we take this guy, there's our 1200. Look at him. 6 strength. Animal Savagery goes off all the time. Frenzy, Mighty Blow, Prehensile, Tail, Stand Firm. This guy is a beast for 270,000. And because he's not a superstar player, he only takes 2 of your skills away, meaning this tier 1 team still has 4 to spend, and look where they go on these 4 positionals. Okay, so you could take block. I think you're only allowed, 3? Let's double check. Skills may only be purchased 3 times for a team, and each player may not have more than 2. So if we go back here, yeah, we'd only be able to take block twice. I don't know if you want to put block on these gals, whether you want to put guard on these gals and put block on these ones, maybe wrestle. That's up to you. Again, not my experience, but you've got the 12th player. You've got a huge star. Let's say we get rid of this guy. You know what's another good star? Estelle Lavenu. This lady, she straight up kills. Okay, her gaze, when it goes off, stuns your player. Like, you can't do anything with them. It will cost you touchdowns. I hate it. Amazon fouling roster, one of the strongest at the moment. You want that extra player? Take her for 190. What do you got? You got another. And that allows you, with the 30,000 you have left over, you can actually get rid of her. And you can finally take that thrower. Because she only costs 80. Bada bing, bada boom. If you decide to go the Estelle Lavenu route, you get the thrower with on-the-ball pass, safe pass. Is it worth it? At the end of the game, when you need to stop them from scoring and this lady can stun their ball carrier, yeah, it's worth it. That's obnoxious. Mighty Zug is only 220. He's affordable as well. And actually, if you went that route, so here's your 11 players. Throw in Mighty Zug. And then what do you got? 50,000 left over? Look who's got the extra Fowler. There's your 13th player. So that works out. Like, it feels like with Amazons, as we're building this roster, that the money values just work. Every star player we're picking works out perfectly with like a full roster straight at 1200. Yeah, Estelle is exactly as Eldrer said. This could be a good roster. It could be, until you end up against Dwarves or Chaos Dwarves. But yeah, this is a good roster. A lot of options with Amazons. I would recommend taking this roster as a star player caddy, because the 2 skills that you're going to sacrifice for that star, where are they going to go? Here? Okay, so you've got 2 more blodgers, and can you even take blodge? Because you already put block on 3 of these ladies, or 2 of these ladies. So I mean, yeah, you could have Rogers. Let's assume. Having 2 Rogers or having a star player, I'll take the star player. Yeah, it's a good roster. There you go. I mean, a lot of options there. Let's go to Josh Ebert. He says Orcs and Skaven. Now, Josh has recently been bringing his son to tournaments, and his son is an excellent coach. I actually played against him at a tournament, a chili cook-off tournament at my local game store not too long ago, and he was impressive. His dad's a good coach too, so it's no doubt where he gets that skill from. If you're building rosters for both of you, let's see what we can do. Okay, so Orcs. This is another one of those teams where it's going to start out the exact same for everybody. What are the must-haves? You got to have big and blockers. You got to have blitzers. There's 8 of your players and you're at 680. Okay, cool. Big question. Do we take the thrower? Not right now. We don't. We might. I'm going to throw in the troll because I like that extra strength. I like the throw teammate. Linemen or goblins. Let's throw in a lineman and a goblin. We might go for a second goblin. We'll see. Now, can Orcs do star player stuff? No. They're a tier 2 team, so they're going to get 8 skills. But can you afford one of these guys? No. Plus, you want those 8 skills on the big and blockers and the Orc blitzers. This is a good roster. Okay. Let's see. I think we can take the thrower for sure hands. That's cool. And we can take an additional goblin. I like having multiple goblins. I really do. 30,000 left over. Spend it on whatever you want. Extra coaches. Okay, cool. But what do you do for skills wise? Okay, so you got 8 skills to spend on the Orc roster. Well, the blitzers, one of them is going to have tackle. It's see what I did there? I wish it would just default to select, and then you could choose random otherwise. Where is it? Tackle. Okay, so we got the one Orc blitzer with tackle. The other one, I want a mobile guard. I like having guard with 6 movement. I think that's a good one. Do you take the frenzy? Frenzy's a fun skill because it kind of shuts down their game plan on the wings. You could also take mighty blow. I would take probably sure hands. You'd have 2 sure hands, maybe strip ball. Strip ball. You take strip ball. Yeah, that's a good one. And then let's go back up here. I mean, in all honesty, you're taking block, and you can only take 3 guards, right? So block on 2 of these big boys, guard on 2 of the others. There you go. On your final guy here, you can take mighty blow. You can take a second tackle. You can take sure hands if you want a better ball carrier than your thrower. All these things work. So that's your Orc roster. Go with the basics, these first 8. Go for the untrained troll. Gotta have them. You can have the thrower as your backup. You got 2 goblin linemen. You got fowlers. You got 3 rerolls. And 8 skills. Make sure all your guys are good. That way your Orcs are nasty. But Skaven. What can you do with Skaven? Well, Rat Ogre starts. 2 blitzers. Obviously all 4 gutter runners. Silly question. And we're going to take the thrower. In my opinion, the best thrower in the game. There's your 11 players. Skaven's going to need more, but we're not there yet. Let's go ahead and give 3 rerolls. You've got 145,000 left to spend. Skaven is tier 1, so they're only going to have 6 skills. It's not worth getting a star player on Skaven. Plus, you don't need it. What a waste of time. So go ahead and take the extra 2 linemen. You've got 13 for replacement. You've got fowlers. But you do have this 45,000 just hanging here. Hey, I'll let you go first. Welcome. Glad you're here on the channel, man. So Skaven is an interesting roster. There's some really good coaches with this. With 6 skills, you're looking at, what, tackle on one of these guys, guard on another, and then for the gutter runners, there's some different thought processes that go here. Obviously, you're going to have the one blodger that's probably going to be your main ball carrier. Some people go with horns. Some people go with strip ball. it's really up to you. Do you want horns? Do you want wrestle? I mean, you can't go wrong. You could also, here's another one, sure feet or sprint. I think sprint is good with these guys because it makes the one turn that much easier. Okay, one turning with gutter runners is already kind of easy. You only have to move 2 squares, so if you know the basics of it, like, you can almost accidentally get yourself into a one turn situation. But when you have sprint and a reroll sitting left over for the half, I mean, it's gone. So that's cool. I would consider sprint on one of these guys. Yeah, that's it. Tackle and guard on the blitzers for sure. Block for the ball carrier, sprint on another, and then you want 2 safeties. Maybe horns and tackle, maybe horns and wrestle. Up to you. There's your Skaven roster. Matthew Bond says Shambling Undead. He wants to know about Shambling. I love Shambling Undead. It's one of my favorite rosters. Jugs on the Roger. What would you give up to put Juggernaut on the Roger? Actually, that's not bad. You could just go with 3 skilled gutter runners and then put Juggernaut on the Roger. So you've got Jugs on the Roger, guard tackle on the blitzers, block, sprint, and then you have to have a safety. Horns. Yeah, I like that. Juggernaut on the Roger. Eldrir in the chat has a good point, so change that Skaven roster. Let's get into the fun of Shambling Undead. My favorite part about these guys is that after the roster is built, there's always so much gold left over. So let's see what we can do. Problem is, Undead are tier 1. So any star you buy is going to take down your skills. Oh, okay, well, let's do it. Mummies, got them. Whites, got them. Some people run 2 ghouls, i.e. me, guilty. I usually run 2 ghouls. Let's give you all 4. And then zombies. Another point of contention, some people like this skeleton as a fowler because he has the extra movement. Yeah, that's fine. I usually run all zombies. You can't go wrong with all zombies. Whatever you do, don't run all skeletons. That's silly. Don't do that. So here's your filled out roster. Let's give them some 3 rerolls. You got 100 left to spend. Yeah, there's nothing here. Look at this weak sauce. Ugh. Alright, I mean, I guess you're taking more zombies. Yeah, there's your zombies, and you got your coaches. 1,200. Now, for 6 skills, you're obviously going to deck out the mummies, the whites, and 2 of your ghouls. Leave the other 2 with just dodge. I would recommend guard on a white, tackle on the other. Probably guard on both the mummies, and so you've got your 3 guard, which is the maximum you can have. You're punching above your weight. You're not going to orcs around. And then on the ghouls, give 1 block. And the other one, I would give wrestle. But some people would say give sure hands. I don't think you need sure hands when you have 3 rerolls rostered. So I would recommend having your ball carrier with block and your safety with wrestle. And there's your undead roster. They should all look like this. Unless you have a better way to spend 100k, which you might. You can't buy any stars that are worth it for that. So this is what your undead roster is going to look like. Guard, 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 tackle, block, wrestle. Done. Okay. Humans. Now, humans and OWA are going to look a lot alike, I think. But let's test that theory. Yep, you got it. All right, humans. So another guy here, James, different James, wanted to see humans. This is the team I started playing Blood Bowl on. So I'd like to think I know a little bit about them. By the way, human catchers should be strength 3. Hashtag. Okay. Human blitzers, 4 of them. Let's go with the thrower. I don't run catchers anymore. You could, though. They're well worth it for their price. Let's give you 2 catchers. And then linemen. You're going to need that 12th player. You know what, though? We want to see if they can carry a star. So get rid of that guy for now. We'll probably come back. 3 rerolls. We're looking at 210,000 to spend. We could. Hold up. We could make it more if we drop these catchers. We'd be able to, if we turn these into linemen, we'd be able to make that an additional 30,000, which would bring us to 240,000. So what stars can we get? Because humans are tier 2. So a regular star, no Griff Oberwalds or whatnot, a regular star takes you to only 6 skills. That's your ogre, that's your 4 blitzers, that's your thrower. Heck, you could even drop a reroll. Ooh, if you're cool with this, you drop the rerolls down to 2. If you really want that 3rd reroll, throw leader on your thrower. And then you've got, oh my god, change these catchers. You can afford anything in the game. Yeah. So humans make a good star player caddy team as well, but you don't have to. Okay, let's build the roster with just the way it is. 8 skills. It's almost a waste. Heck, you could actually go even further and get even more money if you turn 2 linemen into halflings. Oh my god. Okay, no, I gotta see this. I gotta see it. How much money can we save? Get rid of this. Alright, we're going full star player now. Okay. Down to 2 rerolls. Got our halflings. 300. Ooh. Okay, so we got 300, and we could turn these catchers in so we would have 330. Hell, we almost have enough for Morg. That's ridiculous. If we drop the ogre, we can buy Morg. Okay, God, yeah, we can get Frankenstein. He's crap, though. Griff Oberwald, easy choice. Yeah, you go Griff. What else? Some people like Carla Von Kill. Let's just see her skills again. Block, Dauntless, Jump Up. So she's a Blodge, Dauntless, Jump Up, 4 strength. She's not bad. I don't know. I never take her. I've got a cool miniature of her, though. I use it as a human catcher because it's tiny. But yeah, I can see that. Deeproot, Strong Branch. Now, you might want to take him instead of Morg and still get the Mighty Blow +2. Problem is, he is a Megastar. So he's still going to cost the 4. Not worth it. Humans, in conclusion, right? If you're building humans, you can do this and get any star player you want with the exception of Morg. But if you go the other way, then you've got a decked out team, 13 players, 3 rerolls, 8 skills means that you're going to take guard on the ogre, guard on 2 blitzers, and then over here, take tackle on 1, and the other, some people go strip ball, some people go mighty blow. Very rarely do I see people take 2 tackle. You could, if you expect to go up against a bunch of dodgy teams. You only need 1. So there's that. But yes, guard, tackle, and then let's say strip ball. Then you could go with leader over here. I would not recommend accurate. I just don't think it's necessary. And then block on the catchers. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 8 skills. All of your positionals have a skill. So that's, you can go star player ness or star player full. Star player list, star player full. You know what I'm saying. Get these humans out of here. There's too many options. I don't want them. Here's what I'm taking. Okay? Here's the winning roster, folks. A little bit of Chaos Dwarves. Yeah. God, I love Chaos Dwarves. I just painted up a new Chaos Dwarf team. I'm now at 3. It's hard to believe, like a year ago, I had 0 Chaos Dwarf teams, and I was trying to like put together the team with different random minis I had around when I wanted to play them. And now I've got 3 different teams. One from Etsy, one from Grebo, one from Punga. And God knows when GW releases another one, I'm totally going to buy that. Remember, if you're taking a team of Legend to this tournament, you are required to bring GW minis. And they actually have to be painted as well. So you're able to bring Chaos Dwarves. Okay, even though they do not have an officially licensed team, you can bring them to this tournament, but you have to use GW figures and you have to have them painted. I hope that's settled in. There are old Chaos Dwarf teams. Maybe you know somebody with some. Maybe you can get away with proxying. You didn't hear this from me. Okay? Maybe you can get away with proxying. Yeah, you got some old Iron Breakers, right? You got a GW Dwarf team. Maybe some Goblins. You got a GW Dwarf team, some Goblins, and you're like, hey, message the tournament organizer. Can I use these? Yeah, you're good. I can't use any of my Chaos Dwarf teams, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay? Just throwing it together. But what do you buy? There are people, believe it or not, that will tell you don't need an enslaved Minotaur. They are liars. You need the enslaved Minotaur. You know why? Because Chaos Dwarves, being tier 1, cannot buy a star player in this tournament. It's not worth it. Even if it is a Hackflim Scuttle Spike, he costs 4 skill. It's not worth it. So you don't have anything to spend money on. Like, I'll show you. Here's all of your positionals. Look at all that block and tackle. God, I love this team. Here's your 12 players. 3 rerolls. You have 40,000 left. There's your 13th player. If you are playing Chaos Dwarves, this is the roster you take. I'm telling you right now. Now, you only have 6 skills, so what do you give them? I would put Juggernaut on the Minotaur, because you're blitzing with him, ideally, the most. And then for the Bulls. Now, if you're one of those people that likes to run with their Bulls being the ball carriers, you're tempted to put Sure Hands on them. Don't do that. Don't do that. I used to be that. Do not do that. Block is the obvious choice. You should probably go with block on both of them. I recently heard that there is an Italian strategy that's really big over there where they actually put guard on both. And I listened to that and I was like, that's crazy. But then I started thinking about it and I go, wow, you got 9 movement on that guard. You got 4 strength, so he's hard to push away. And then I decided I'm taking Chaos Dwarves to a World Cup here. And I was like, I'll do 1. So in my roster for World Cup, I've got 1 block bull. I've got 2 guard bulls. Or, sorry, 1 block, 1 guard. I'm not going to go 2 guard. I think that's a little too crazy. But I like the idea of having the 1. Okay, so for this, you can have 3 block and 3 guard max. I would say give it a try. Juggernaut on the big guy. Block on 1, guard on the other. Or 2 guard or 2 block, whatever, that's fine. You have 3 skills to put on these dwarves. Do not put a skill on your hobgoblin. But Fluid Man, I think I need Sure Hands. No, that's why we gave you 3 rerolls. Okay? You don't need Sure Hands on this guy when you have 3 rerolls. If you have 2, then put Sure Hands on a hobgoblin. You don't need that. So you've got 3 skills on the Chaos Dwarves. Obvious choice is guard. You've already got guard over here on the bull, so you've got 2 guard, and then what do you give this guy? Mighty Blow. Now you've got a stunty killer. Now you've got a second Mighty Blow on the line when you're receiving. If you put guard on this bull, then you're gonna have Mighty Blow on this guy. If you put block on both your bulls, then you're gonna have 3 guard dwarves. That's your choice. Either way is good. Either way works. But your Chaos Dwarf roster will look one of 2 ways. Okay, I'm gonna go over it again real quick. Juggernaut, block, guard, guard. Or option 2, Juggernaut, block, guard, Mighty Blow. That's it. Great roster. All right. Now, one guy asked for 2 teams. I'm tempted to cut him off. But Daniel Sloan wants to know about Lizards and Chaos, like Chaos United, Chaos Chosen. Let's begin with Lizards. And I'll tell you right now, Daniel, if you're watching this, which hopefully you are because you messaged me, go to Lizardman. Look, you've got 6 skills. Okay. Can we afford the team and get a star player to make this actually interesting? Or is this going to look like every other roster? Lizardman is not a it's not a creative roster. It usually looks the same for everybody. No, you can't afford stars. You can't. There it is. Just proved it. You got your 12th player. That's good. They're also going to have a hard time getting rid of all your ball carriers. By the way, guys, if you're wondering, how do I beat Lizardmen? They're always so powerful. Kill the skinks. That's the way to beat Lizardmen. You kill the skinks, you win the game. You don't kill the skinks, you lose the game. That's how it works with Lizardmen. So, you've got your 12th player here. You've got 3 rerolls, which is the perfect amount. 30,000 left over gives you, let's just do that. Good. Now we're built. But what do we give them? Okay? You can only take block 3 times. You can only take guard 3 times. So what I would be tempted to do is I'd be tempted to put, I'm not going to put anything on the skinks, by the way. The chameleon skink and the other skinks, they die too easy. Everything's a double for them. It's not worth it. Leave them alone. These guys up here, I say you go block, block, block. And then the real question is, do you go guard, 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 or do you put 2 guard on the Saurus and 1 on the Crocs? I would say they move the same amount. And technically the Croxagore is harder to push away with his guard. But low key, the Saurus blocker is never going to bonehead on you. And if you've ever played as Lizardmen or against them, you know one maxim is always true. Croxagore gonna Crocs. He will always fail boneheads. When you don't want him to, he will fail that bonehead. Not even in the same way that ogres and trolls do. This guy will literally do it for 7 turns in a row if you let him. Okay? So because of that, I would go with guard on the blocker over here. Now, there's somebody in chat who's saying give 1 wrestle. That's not a bad choice, actually. Because of your high built-in strength, you don't actually need to have 3 guard, like some teams like Chaos Dwarves need. You don't need that. You could go with 2 guard. So it's not a bad choice to go block, 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 which you do need, guard, guard, and then throw wrestle on the last guy. That actually works. I like that a lot. So good tip from Eldrir. Block, 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 guard, guard, wrestle. And there is your Lizardman team. Remember, do not put anything on the skinks. Protect them with your life. But what about Chaos Chosen? Alright, well, Chaos Chosen. Do we take the Minotaur, the Ogre, or the Troll? That's a good question. Okay? First off, I want to just double check this. They are tier 2. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. We're going to save the big guy till later. There are some things that you must have. Okay? All 4 blockers. Fill out until you get to 11 with Beastmen. Alright, if you end up taking a big guy, then you'll throw him in as your 12th player. If you end up wanting a star player, then he can be your 12th player. Or if you want the big guy and the star player, then get rid of a Beastman. Okay, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. What are we at right now? 820? I want 3 rerolls. I'm looking at 1 million. So I've got 200,000 left to spend. Can I afford a star? No, I can't. I can go with anything I want. Ogre is the most reliable choice, so that's probably the one you want to go with. I'm partial to Minotaurs. I love them. Now, what is the cost difference here? 10,000. So this is your choice. Do not take the Troll. Do not take the Troll. So, Minotaur, Ogre, and I don't care. Take them. Boom. In fact, actually, if you take the Ogre, that leaves you enough for another Beastman. And we just decided, okay, take the Ogre. He's more reliable, and you get an extra Beastman. Take the Ogre. 8 skills. See, nobody starts with block or wrestle. So this is a rough one. I don't want to have 3 wrestling Beastmen. I think that's garbage. But we got to skill out these Chaos Chaos blockers. There we go. I got Dwarves on the brain. Honestly, I think 2 of these guys need guard. You do need guard on Chaos Chosen. 2 of them need block. There's a guy who runs Mighty Blow, just Mighty Blow on these guys, and he always racks up so many. I don't know how he does it. So many kills. Yeah, you could do that. In fact, you want to know the guy to listen to on this? I will defer to him 100%. Is Doombeard Dave. So if you know Doombeard Dave, or if you've ever heard of Doombeard Dave, I believe he has some crazy record of most casualties in a game in NAF history or something. Don't quote me on that. He's crazy good with Chaos, and so he'd be the guy. Look him up. Yeah. But if it was me building this, this is the loadout. Okay? We've got 4 chosen blockers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 Beastmen and an Ogre. That gives us the perfect amount to get 3 rerolls. We've got 8 skills, so obviously 1, 2, 3, 4. Give them whatever you want. Block, guard, Mighty Blow, I don't care. But one of those 3. Yeah, one of those 3. This guy should have sure hands. I would say put tackle on another. The horns is going to come in useful. 2-die blocks, and you've got tackle. That's cool. Maybe strip ball. Maybe. Sure hands for sure. Tackle is always good. Strip ball, that's fun. And then go crazy. Just like monstrous mouth or something. No, I'm kidding. Whatever you want. Actually, you could end up putting, there you go. Put it on the ogre. Yep. Guard on the ogre. Guard on the blocker. Block, block, block. Sure hands. Tackle. And strip ball. And there's your Chaos Chosen team. Very nice. Yeah. Oh, that was a lot. That was a lot of work, folks. Glad you stuck around. Able to see some of the rosters that people are going to be bringing to the GW US Open in Tampa. Remember a couple things. It has to be a GW team. It has to be painted to a tabletop standard. If you don't have that, I'm sure somebody in Florida will loan it to you. I've got like 30 teams. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because if you're traveling to Florida to play in this, I will let you use one of my teams. I will bring it with me. Okay? So there is ways to get past that if you don't own one. Just saying. If you're playing something like Chaos Dwarves, you're going to want to message the tournament organizer. You can find their information on the NAF website, which I will link along with BB roster and the PDF for this tournament in my channel when I upload this video to YouTube. So message them and find out, can I proxy models? Okay? Does anybody have an available Chaos Dwarf team from like 1993 that I can use? Chances are they will. So if you have any other questions for me, feel free to ask me now, or, message me. I'll help you build a roster just personally. You can always find me on the Florida Blood Bowl Discord. You can find me here, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, with all the old people. My aunt is a follower. You want to be a follower? Follow. That's cool. Or not. But it helps. All right. Anyway, thanks, guys. I'm glad you were all here. Have a great night. Auf Wiedersehen. And see y'all at World Cup or at one of these upcoming tournaments.